So the next topic is job roles and employment opportunities. So you need to know all of the different job roles that are included in the catering industry. You need to know all the admin and management. You need to know all the different types of chef and the restaurant staff as well. So please do revise the job roles. The first thing you need to know is that there are 3 types of staff within the catering industry, or should I say 3 groups. The first is management and administration. The second is food preparation, which are all your chefs. And the third is food service, which are your restaurant staff, or your front of house staff. There are 2 main roles within management. One is a manager and one is an assistant manager. The manager is responsible for the day-to-day running of the company, and the assistant manager will take that role if the manager isn't there. But the assistant manager is responsible to the manager, and they will have jobs delegated to them. The next thing is that there are many different types of chef that you need to know about. Now, as a whole group of chefs, that is known as the kitchen brigade. Now, depending on the size of the establishment, that will be very large or very small. The head chef is the person in charge, so also known as the executive chef. They'll be responsible for creating the menus, creating the staff rotas, purchasing ingredients, making sure the stock's there, costing things and putting prices on the menus. They're in charge of the overall production of everything really, and they need to make sure that all hygiene and health and safety regs are up to date. The sous chef, often mistaken for the soup chef, please don't do that. The sous chef is the second chef, so the second in charge. So they're actually in charge of the food production in the kitchen. They work directly for the head chef. So they take command of the other chefs within the kitchen, and they make sure that if the food's going out is perfect, and that's their job, that's what they're in charge of. There are lots of other chefs that you need to know about, and they are called station chefs. There are specific ones that have specific job roles, and it's your job to know them for your exam. So we'll go through them now. The first one is the pastry chef, or the pâtissier, and they're in charge of making pastries and desserts. The next one is a larder chef, which is responsible for any cold food items, so buffet items, salad dressings, pâtés, cold hors d'oeuvres, basically any cold foods. The next one is a sauce chef or saucier, and they provide or they prepare the hot foods such as the soups, the stews, hot hors d'oeuvres, and they saute food to order as well, so like sauteed mushrooms and other vegetables, they do that as well. The next is a vegetable chef. Now, as the title suggests, they prepare all the vegetables for the meals. They also make soup, starches and eggs. They prepare all the eggs that are needed for all of the dishes. If you've got a particular large establishment, the vegetable chef will be split into 3, and you've got the fry cook, the vegetable cook and the soup cook. Kitchens also have a trainee chef, if you like, called a commis. So a commis chef is someone who helps with general things around the kitchen. They can help with all different stations, different chefs, and they may be doing an apprenticeship or some training, or they're just a junior, someone who's at college, maybe a part-time job. So they're generally completing training to become a chef. Then you've got the kitchen porters, who are the cleaners, and they clean up after the chef, make sure everything's tidy and clean, ready for next food production. They do all the washing and the carrying of goods from the store. So the next thing you need to know about are the restaurant staff, also known as the front of house. You've got your restaurant manager, who's in charge of the restaurant and who runs the restaurant. Another thing to know about are the employment opportunities within the catering industry. So you've got full-time opportunities, part-time and casual. Full-time staff must have a contract, work a regular amount of hours over a 7-day period, so they'll have a rota, and their shift pattern will change depending on how busy it is from day to day. Part-time staff might work on set days of the week, or they might be in a rota system, the same, but they don't work full-time hours. So they could be 8 hours, 16 hours, 20 hours, but they don't work full-time hours. They're still permanent and they still should have a contract. The companies employ part-time staff on their busier times of the week, meal times, etc. in the day, and on the evening the part-time staff will come in, so they have extra staff on for those busy periods. Casual staff are a little different. They won't have a contract with the employer. They might work through an agency, and then what happens are catering establishments get in touch with the agency and ask for additional staff if they need it for things such as weddings or big meetings or parties. They might bring in casual staff to help out. They won't have set hours, and casual staff don't know where they're working from one day to the next. You'll find a lot of casual staff being employed at busy times of the year, such as Christmas. And the last thing to think about on this topic are career paths. So there are lots of career paths within the catering industry, and those career paths are to do with your management and administration, your food preparation and your food serving. So you can work your way up through the ranks. So if you get a job, say in a hotel as a kitchen porter, you might work your way up, and you might get an apprenticeship. There's lots of apprenticeships and training opportunities within the catering industry, so you can work your way up the career ladder. And if you start out in a hotel on the administration side, work in reception, there's lots of training opportunities there as well to progress up to management. So the catering industry is a great industry to be involved in. You get to travel, you get to meet famous people, you can work your way up the career ladder. There's loads of opportunities to progress. Make sure for the exam you can write about the many advantages and benefits of a career in the catering industry. Jobs are advertised online, through colleges and universities, in magazines and papers. You will find job adverts for this industry anywhere that you look. So there are 10 things you need to know about job roles and employment opportunities. Make sure you can write about them in your exam.